Hi there, Carrie here. Glad to be back. Missing, seriously, missing meditating on the sands of Cancun at anywhere between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock every morning for at least an hour. And those ones on the beach are what we call a walking meditation, which when I first heard that, I thought, well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But the idea being that if you can get yourself into a meditative state, we'll talk more about that in a second. If you can do that sitting down with your eyes closed and feeling connected to everything, being in a place where the words don't even exist. And if they don't exist, they can't affect you. Being in that place, but doing it with your eyes open as you walk through the world, to be able to access that place of peace and calm and serenity anytime, anywhere, for as long as you want. And there's a whole lot deeper going on there than what meets the eye. But what I've suggested to reporters, to students, is, and please remember my caveat that I started off feeling like meditation was the M word, because I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't know what the purpose was, and I didn't know how the hell could I fit that into my life that doesn't have time for anything else either. What I have found is that taking that short period of time rejuvenates me, reinvigorates me, makes me able to be accessible to more creative, productive ideas, and really assists in getting the doors open for really miraculous kind of things to have access to that. Now, what is the mysterious, mystical, magical thing that all of the students out there want? They want to be out, certified, and working and making money. It doesn't get more magical than that if you're in court reporting school. And I keep flashing back on things I heard decades ago, years ago. And one of them was from my daughter, who was in court reporting school at the time. That's a whole nother video because it wasn't my idea. In fact, at the place I was at that time, I was kind of trying to discourage her from doing that. It's like, honey, go to Paris, learn to be a designer. I could do anything besides be a court reporter. Um, and I don't know. Was that me thinking she couldn't do it? Was that me thinking I was so special that one of my kids couldn't do it also? She flew through school. She was incredible. She was amazing, and I had nothing to do with that. And there came a moment when she decided she wanted to travel, and that this was not her path for now. And I honored that completely. But I remember when she was in school telling me about this guy that was one of the students in the class, and he was making incredible progress. And that every day before school, she'd see him over on the side of the school, sitting alone on a wall, a little brick wall, or that was my visual interpretation of what she was telling me. And then he would come into class and just do the thing everybody else was doing, but he was getting incredible results. And I don't know if she asked him or somebody asked him at some point, "What are you doing? What is the thing you're doing on the wall, and or what other magic are you installing that's causing you to get phenomenal progress? Way more than anybody else in the class was getting." And he said, "Oh, I just go out there and meditate for a while before I start school. I get everything centered and calm and peaceful." And which to us left brain frantic, gotta fix it, gotta do it, gotta have it now kind of people, makes no sense. How can you go faster by calming down before? One of the things that I learned in this retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza was that before you go into a meditative state, before you go into allowing yourself to drop out of the world of the words and into the world of knowing, that you need to have an intention going in. Not that you're going to make anything happen, but to ask a question, to have an intention, to have a desire, to want to know what's next for me. What do I need to know going forward to get the best results in a 3D world? And when you access that moment of dropping into who you truly are, you're not in the 3D anymore. You're in what some people call the 5D. You are at a higher vibration. You are accessing source. Call it whatever you want. Creator, universe, God, whatever it is for you. You're accessing the source of it all. And in that realm, there is no time. There's only an endless, infinite space and possibilities. Everything that could possibly happen is there. And you're allowing yourself to rise to a level that can affect the information that's in that field. And it's the information that creates the possibilities in this world we see around us. And that's why if you run around saying things to yourself, like, school is so hard, I'm not getting the progress, I don't know what I'm doing, how do I get out of here, what is wrong with me? Those things are reiterations of beliefs, but they keep you grounded in the 3D. And the way Dr. Joe describes it is, in this material world, to get from point A to point B takes time and space. There's this much space and there's this much time to get over here. If that's because that's the information that's in the field. But if you can rise, if you can allow yourself to be in a state to access source, everything happens. Everything is happening instantaneously. And the higher the frequency, the more you can connect, the longer you can connect to source, the faster things will change in 3D. That's where miracles happen. That's why it looks like 1 minute nothing is happening and the next minute a miracle has just happened. And it's that moment of disconnecting to the thought that everything in this world has to be accomplished on a continuum of space and time. We can go on for another 2 weeks explaining all the intricacies of what I just tried to share with you. But the bottom line is, and we all know this, being in the zone when you're writing, being in that moment of you're listening, but you're not listening. You're engaging, but you're not engaging. You're writing, and it's just happening. How do we get to there? Well, often at will. I don't know if at will is possible, but I know yesterday taking a deposition, I found myself in the middle of the deposition for the first time in 45 years, realizing that my body was moving and writing on the machine, and I was just allowing it to happen. Almost having an out-of-body experience because I wasn't forcing, thinking, making it happen. And I was sitting there kind of not analyzing my real-time output, but watching it brilliantly come up on the screen exactly the way it needed to, without my mental analytical intervention. And for a moment, I felt that same dropping down into the void, into the infinity Um, and it was magical. So yeah, maybe Carrie's crazy, but I'm getting a whole lot more done since I got home than I ever did before. And I have set intentions over the years. Um, Last year I was at a retreat with Dr. Joe, and he asked us before we went into a meditation to think of something that we could honestly believe was maybe physically possible, and to have kind of that intention as we go into the meditation. And what I came up with seemed absurd, but I thought, well, if it works, that'd be great. And I said to myself, what if I could make as much money with way less effort? What if I could make in 2 days what I've been working hard for 5 days to make? What if? What if I could do that? Well, that'd be cool. And I went into a meditation, came out, didn't have any kind of extraordinary experiences till I went home. And the first week on calendar, I had an incredible job on Monday, on that Monday. And then the second day, they actually took that case and it went into the second day. Maybe these are coincidences, but all my jobs for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday went off. So all of a sudden, I had 3 days back to me in my personal life. And I hadn't made as much in those 2 days as I would have made had I worked normal jobs for 5 straight days. And I thought to myself, well, son of a gun, isn't that interesting? But it happened again the next week. And then it happened again the next week. And you come to a point where you realize this is not a coincidence. This is what you said you kind of thought would be interesting if it happened. And then my brain started trying to analyze how it happened and why it happened. And if I could keep making it happen, and it didn't happen again after that. Although, in general, I started making more money with less effort, but not like those first couple of weeks when I came out with just allowing and not trying to fix it, not trying to make it happen, not trying to force it, just allowing what part of me believed was possible. And then I saw the evidence that it's definitely possible. There's no way that I can be in control of all of the moving parts to make those things happen. But source can. Because if you're at a level of not being in the material world and you're in that place from which all emanates, from which there are infinite possibilities, then one of those possibilities has got to be whatever your wish is, to work 2 days and make as much money as you would in 5, whatever it is. My goals have certainly changed over the years. And the more money I make and the less I become attached to how I'm making it, meaning me being in control of my calendar, me being in control of what jobs I'm taking, um, allowing it to happen has just been incredible. And I actually had one of the firms I work for tell me that I needed to submit an updated worksheet because they figured that with the jobs that I took last year, with a little bit of tweaking, I probably could have made $60,000 to $75,000 more. Okay, I can update a rate sheet. Um, I've been making amazing money. I've never really worried about it. And why would a firm do that? I mean, it seems to me it'd be in their best interest to make sure that I just keep my rates really low. But they said they um, enjoyed working with me and that I'm a producer of voluminous amount of work and that I go out of my way to make their clients happy, to keep the client happy because that's what keeps the calendar full. And that they don't want me working for anybody else if I can make enough money with them and it's easy and it flows. Blew me away. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just letting it go. Like this is something out of the ethers that I hadn't expected. Um, but it was weird because at one point during this retreat, he said to set an intention, and I'm like, okay, well, one of my intentions was to finally finish the dang hypnosis certification for a court reporter's course, to have it okayed by the NCRA and okayed by all of my hypnosis certification agencies. And I've got one last step to do before I can roll it out. I'm like, okay, yeah, that'd be an intention to have that happen. But then my brain said, yeah, but that's you trying to, you've got to do the steps and you've got to do the stuff. And I thought, well, I got to do that. But does it have to be so hard? Does it have to take so long? At this point, getting the program in progress has taken longer than it would have to certify somebody. So that's kind of absurd. So I said, oh, to hell with it. I'm just going to focus on $50,000. It'd be really cool if $50,000 just kind of fell in my lap. I could use that. And it was when I got back and got the call from the agency saying you need to update your worksheet. We think that you could have made at least $60,000 to $75,000 more. And I thought, well, there's 50,000 right in there going forward. I don't know, or maybe there's another check on the way. Who knows? I don't care. I'm getting to a place where I'm trying to get out of my own way. I'm trying to let things happen, have wishes and desires and visions, and um, envisioning what's possible and what might be fun, allowing my brain to go there, because when you do, you create new neural pathways. And then when you think the thought again and again and again and again, those neural pathways, the things that fire together, wire together, and become not just what you're thinking, but what your brain believes is possible. And it changes the filter through which you see reality. And that's why when you run across people who are in concomitant states of drama and they can't get out of it, listen to what they say to themselves, and stay extricated from those circumstances, because it will suck you in. It will change your energy and it will change your vibration and it will change your belief in what's possible. Because they'll convince you that the story they're telling themselves is true and there's no way out of it. And that's the truth for them. That doesn't have to be the truth for you. So I hope, take what you can of what I've shared here. Some of it sounds bizarre, except that it's all based in science at this point. I was one of, was it 800 people who were hooked up to, that's just a Garmin, but we were hooked up the whole time we were doing meditation, and they were doing blood samples and biome samples and respiration rate, pulse rate during meditation, out of meditation. I could literally see on a graph when I dropped down and let go, as opposed to some of the meditations were really hard. And if you looked at my chart, it looked like I was in total stress, because I was. I was in my body, worrying about why it wasn't happening for me. Sound familiar? And the rest of the time, when I just let go and allowed myself to just drop into wherever, there it was, in a very peaceful, resting place. And that, seriously, is where the magic is. Anybody has questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think, and get a hold of me, because I'm happy. I've got a couple of people who are interested in learning meditation, and I want to be really careful how I do that, because I want to make it understandable and easy, but it is a choice. It's not going to just happen. Like Dr. Joe says, well, I think it was Jim Rohn, actually, 100 years ago, not really, maybe 40 years ago, that said, for life to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. If you wake up every morning thinking the thoughts from yesterday, you're claiming yesterday. And you're making tomorrow, and even today, impossible to change. To change your, this is a Dr. Joe, to change your personal reality, you have to change your whole personality. You've got to do the things that that person would do. You've got to make the choices that that person would make. You have to become that person for your life to change, for you to be able to have that reality. So many people that I work with, and I suggest they go do some personal work or go work with somebody else, because I can't help somebody who really, really, really wants the change, but really is not ready to change. Can't fix that. That's personal work. Anyway, love you guys. Glad to be back. Um, Still trying to figure out how to do an end of the year giveaway. Working on it. Don't want to interfere with the student. I think it's a student giveaway that Chris DeGracio is doing, which is wonderful. I'll be donating some stuff to that, maybe some memberships or something. Because I need some tax write-offs before the end of the year. What a problem to have. Cool. Love you guys. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.